In our studio, not wearing his tuxedo, is Gerry Isherwood.
Yeah, I remember that very well.
Day in the tux?
Yes, it was a new cigarette, Ambassador, I think it was.
Really?
And I was the ambassador. That's why we borrowed the car.
That was back in the days, Gerry, when we were allowed to advertise for cigarettes.
And we had our old friend Bobby Brown done up as the page. He's featured in many of the schemes I've pulled up.
Yes.
Bobby and I were and still are, I'm very pleased to say, great friends.
Okay, we're back in business with busy lines this morning, and just before I turn to the calls, Gerry Isherwood, we skipped an era in broadcasting that you mentioned, the time that you went from Halifax to the CBC and then to New York with WOR and the NBC. Some of the highlights of your NBC days, you were doing the Merv Griffith show, weren't you?
Yeah, the afternoon version of Merv was totally, well, no, I wouldn't say totally unknown. He'd been a game show host, like so many of them were. And he got his first afternoon show on NBC, and I just happened to be in the area at the time when talk was all big. You can maybe recall in the 60s that talk for a while was the king.
Yes,
in fact, WOR was the talk station. And I did the long John Neville show. He's dead now, unfortunately. It was the only all-night talk show in the world at the time. We had ticker machines in the studio, and people could send in questions and comments. It was a remarkable show, and he was a very remarkable man. So I was working for Goodson Todman and doing panel shows for them.
When you were with Merv, who were some of the stars that appeared on the show during that period?
Well, instead of having a band, a constant band, they'd have a different band leader. Now, I'm bound to say that the band was very largely the same every week, but Xavier Cugat would run it one week, Peter Nero would run it the other, Lionel Hampton would run it for another week, and it was still a top-notch NBC studio band. And that show actually did win a New York award, a New York Times award, but the rating wasn't there. I guess it wasn't commercial enough, and it didn't last.
But tremendous days.